Hi, mate.
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You was in game when the thingy in the island happened.
Yes. At some point, like when we came up to the bank, the radios basically just shut off for both me and Sam and some other cadet we were rowing with. So everything just went silent. But yeah, before that, yes, I was alone.
I think I did a mistake. I let the cadet freaking go alone on the island, so he can scout for us and give us information. But apparently he got out of the cover I told him to be at and discovered that boy. Yeah, I was there. Now everybody
Hey,
started to yell, "It's my fault for that." So if it's my fault, I
I
take full
swear to
responsibility.
God,
You know
I
better than me.
swear to God, if you get in trouble for it, Captain, this is not gonna end well. I swear. Like, what the fuck? It's obviously my fault. I requested that I get dropped.
All right. Okay. Now, obviously, I can't tell if I've got anything or not because that is classified. You know about this situation. Um, But if you suspect there might be coming something up, I reckon that one of you that might have some GoPro evidence of Arn saying, "Let me get out here." Post that, get that uploaded as fast as possible, because then we can use that as a counter statement.
who's filed the
From the
complaint?
side.
There's nothing like I can't say if there's anything yet. What I'm saying is, Chris, if Arn really truthfully said, "Let me out here, let me handle this," then if you have evidence of that, either one of you, then we can use that as a counter statement to if there's going to be put something up against you. Again, it's classified. I can't say whether or not you have something coming.
I guess I would say the only evidence we have is word of mouth. I myself, I don't have any
Okay,
video
so
evidence.
so there's no GoPro evidence. There's no recordings of anything.
I
Yeah,
don't believe
I
so.
can't record it. That flop is after it. I couldn't
Yeah.
record.
Okay.
But obviously, I think that's evidence that we're coming to you and we're talking to you about it. So I think that's quite,
All right. So again, as you know, I am only an IA investigator trainee, and Sam here is my commanding officer that would then go up to the command. So therefore, he is the one I have to report to whenever there is something. Now, can you just explain to me what happened on your side of the story? Because obviously you don't have any evidence, so it's basically up to us to figure out if it's valid or not.
well, me as the highest ranking officer in the situation, I was running the situation up and making sure everything is going properly. We were asking you, James, because it was your air training to grab Bird 2,
Yeah.
bring officers down to the air situation. Meanwhile, me and Arn were in Air 1. I was flying and flying around the island, making sure they don't do any drastic moves. Then they started to initiate while I flew low over them, saying something about a vehicle or something. So I decided, for the sake of the helicopter and myself, to not lose two officers or anything. I decided to make, obviously, after Arn asked me, to land the chopper and put him down on the ground while he's hiding and checking out they're not taking off or anything. And then I started to fly over again, thinking that they won't open fire, but they did open fire on my helicopter. So I decided to fall back. While falling back, I seen Arn between two buildings. I told him, "Arn, you're too exposed." Told him to fall back. Later on, apparently Arn got kidnapped, and yeah, and people started just to blame it on me. So I'm bringing it up to you guys in order if you guys want to do any action against me, or
Yeah. Now,
I'm
Exactly. I wasn't forcefully put against my will. I volunteered, and
right.
Captain had no
I,
problem with
I,
it.
I get that, but now, what kind of strikes me as kind of odd in this situation is why a high-ranking officer would even let a cadet down in a hostile situation that he, to some extent, know could go bad.
from what the order that he was the only one in my helicopter. All the other units were too far out and were on another helicopter already. And in order to us to keep a clear track over what's happening over there, to make sure that they're not leaving and nobody would be over there, to make sure they don't cause any further harm to any other civilian population, I decided that the best I can do over that field is lay down my officer down here and let him scout while being in a safe distance or in a safe environment that which will not risk himself way too much, and will still be able to keep track over the other units. Unfortunately, that's the
Yeah,
risk that I take as I command, to make those decisions on field, and those risks sometimes pay off as they work well, and sometimes they just don't. And it happens, and I cannot know the outcome of what I decided until
No.
the second it happens.
Of course.
yeah, and I just want to note that the closest unit was at Rebel because that's where the boat shop is, and they had still quite some time to arrive at our location. We were way west, and they were still at Rebel, so there wasn't any close units nearby.
I
It
would
was
know that,
just on
James.
the.
Also, you got some people on your helicopter until the time you arrived. If I would leave, they would have already taken off and left the area without us knowing where they are.
Yeah. Again, both.
So I'm being complete open. I'm
definitely.
obviously. I don't really, I don't
me,
want you guys.
both me and Sam was on the ground units. As you also know, you tried to ask if I could come in there too, but Tyrone Quinn took over. Now, we've been trying to follow up on what's happened there, because this entire situation was pretty weird from our standpoint. But again, where it comes down to odd is why you would let, sacrifice a cadet to a situation that's so hostile. But again, as you say, sometimes you do some sacrifices for the greater good. Sometimes they pay off, and sometimes they obviously fail miserably, like it did right now.
And trust me, I thought about all the scenarios possible, and I don't think you can agree that I told you to watch out and don't go too exposed. And I even went over the radio saying, "Oh, you're too exposed." And I tried to do my best to obviously, an officer is here to protect the others. I am here to protect other people. And that's the decision I had to do in the field in matters of seconds. Rather, I lay him there and keep him as outlooker for the helicopter if he takes off and leaves to another area where we cannot see him, or rather take him and me to a safe location, but we lose track of a helicopter that has 7 heavily armed personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is like one of these situations where you act on the spur of the moment, and then later on you would say, "Oh, maybe I could have done that." Once you've thought about it and had like more time to think, but right then and there, what was done was like what seemed to be the best thing to do. Maybe it wasn't the right thing to do, but right then it seemed like it was the best thing to do. And the moment where it all fucked up is when my cover was blown. If I was stayed in the woods away from the people, it might have actually played out pretty well, but turns out they proceeded to my location, and they weren't where I thought they were, and my cover was blown, and that's when things went south.
All right.
So obviously, me and James, I'm gonna be fair and square with you and you guys, and I love IA and I love what they do. So if you guys decide that still, I acted bad or anything, and you decide that I was on the wrong, feel free to do any actions against me. I'm not gonna deny anything. It's just I'm putting my side of the story there. But yeah, I might have done something that shouldn't have happened, but I did my best at the correct open time that I had, and I thought that if those 5 minutes that nobody's gonna be over there or supervising what they're doing, you're just gonna get in the helicopter, start it up, and leave, and you lose track of it.
Yeah. Right, so I guess there's not really much else to add to this. So we'll be taking this into consideration and into account when and if something happens, and we'll be keeping you in touch with anything.
Cool. I just wanted to bring it up to you guys. I mean, before somebody else brings it up, and so I just wanted you guys to be aware from my spot.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, to be honest, and I hate to admit this, but I think people were kind of what's the word to say, salty, I believe, because they were looking to get some action, but once I got my cover was blown, they didn't. Like, they were gearing up and they were ready to do it, like a boat raid or some type of stuff. And I believe when they thought that their chance of doing that was taken away, everybody was kind of salty about it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole think it's just silly. In the end, they were all killed. I don't know why. What's the problem?
Yeah.
They said in the helicopter when I was taken, they were gonna rob the bank anyways once they escaped the island. So
I see. I
what
see.
changes is that I was just a hostage with them. They were gonna take a hostage anyway, whether
Yeah.
it was a civilian or, in this case, me.
All right. Again, we have taken your statements here. And we'll be looking at what will happen.
Okay.
If you want to do it, because we came and brought you up, I don't care.
Yeah.
James, I just, you know me. I just would like to get the answers as soon as possible.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
I'm still trying to be as professional as.
Okay.
Rip. But yeah, we'll be on our way, and we have taken this into we will be taking this into consideration if and when something happens.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Talk to you around, man.